A federal judge in Washington, D.C. is likely extending the block on President Donald Trump's plan to halt funding through federal grant and loan programs. The judge is concerned that some organizations who are suing to stop the freeze say they are at risk of shutting down without the money. That freeze, which came as a memo sent to the Office of Management and Budget, was later pulled back by the administration. Another block was issued by a Rhode Island judge on Friday. The Trump administration says it plans on issuing another freeze on the funding to ensure that those organizations getting the money are allowing the president's recent executive or following the recent executive orders from the president. Chief Legal Analyst Carly Frode's here to explain that memo. If it's rescinded, how does the block stay in place?
Yeah, I don't think it should stay in place. I mean, well, a couple things. The judge is blocking this memo, but he's blocking the actions of what the memo was supposed to or attempting to implement. And so when you issue an injunction, it's a couple of things. It's a preemptive injunction. I believe that this is going to cause me some future harm. I anticipate this will take some action, and even if it hasn't been implemented yet, I know once the action is taken, I'll have irreparable harm, meaning money can't fix it, meaning the likelihood of me being successful from any potential lawsuit is going to be high. And when I'm doing this balancing test, when I'm weighing the interests of the moving party, the person that's going to be injured, if I believe that interest is in the interest of them and in the interest of the public interest, then the judge will rule in their favor. And that's what happened here. So even if Trump decides that, you know what, I'll rescind this order, the damage is already done or going to be done. And so they anticipate that there'll be another order coming down the pipeline. And so this judge's order to block this would make sense to still be in place because the potential for further harm and or future harm is still there.
We saw so much backlash out of this type of this first block, this first order, but this block now, if a different freeze is issued, does that put in place for the other freezes? Does it still apply?
Well, I think it does, but let's be clear. This is something that folks weren't anticipating, and the legality and the challenges of this are pretty clear. Who holds the purse? That's Congress that holds the purse. Who has already allocated this money? Congress has already allocated this money. So you're talking about small businesses, folks that have received these allocations from Congress that need this money to do whatever their job is, pay payroll, keep overhead, keep costs. Those are the types of things that you're expecting to get from a government that's already cutting a check on a net 30 or a net 60. And so now if you're adding these additional overheads and you're saying, I'm going to cut funding for folks that have already been waiting 30 days to get payment for services they've already completed. So the legal challenges will say, well, hey, these people have already been awarded these allocations. You can't take those allocations back from those folks. And then what do you do with that money that Congress allocated for this specific use? Say if it was specifically used for, grabbing child diapers, you can't now reallocate that for something else because Congress has specifically allocated for this specific purpose. The legal challenges will be mounting, and these individuals and the agencies that have been affected by this, organizations, they have a right to challenge this. Now, the cost for them to be able to bring these challenges is going to be the problem.
One of the things when you do an executive order, if you know that it's already not going to be, it's going to be challenged, or you have something that Congress has to do in the first place, why do it?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. No, that's the same thing that I'm thinking with a lot of these executive orders. Let me be clear. Some of the executive orders that President Trump has implemented and has rolled out, I think he has within his legal authority to do. I think the Constitution is crystal clear on his authority to write these and grant these. But some of the ones that he's done, I think any legal scholar that's in the room advising him or failing to advise him is doing a disservice to the American people. Because if you know, like you said, that these can't be upheld in court, all we're doing is just making publicity statements because someone will challenge, a court will strike it down, and then we'll be right back to square one. And in the interim, the American people are hurt.
Correct. All right. Thank you there, Chief Legal Analyst Carly Frode's.